Comics earlier, we're talking about aging. I turned 30 in January. Anyone else in their 30s? Woo! I know. 30, flirty, and thriving. I am turning 30 in January, and I'm at an age where a lot of my friends are getting married and having kids, and I really love this new dynamic our friendship has taken because it's been fun to get to know their kids. And it also has reintroduced me to the kids' table at functions. But they don't call it the kids' table anymore. They call it the singles table. Which would be bad enough. But the only single people there are always my friends' kids, who are literal babies and toddlers, and then me. And every time I sit at this table, the kids look at me, and I look back at the kids, and then the kids eventually say, "Are you a grown-up?" And I'm like, "That's a good question, kids. Sometimes I don't even know what I am." So they ask me qualifying questions. They're like, "Well, are you married?" I'm like, "No, kids, I'm not married." They're like, "Well, do you live in a house?" I'm like, "Nope, don't live in a house." They're like, "Do you drive a car?" I'm like, "No, kids, I do none of these things. And I'm doing fine, thank you very much." But it's okay. I am doing good. My friend's baby's like, "Oh my God, Stacy took my toy, it's gone." I'm like, "That's interesting." I feel like I have a version of that, but I call it people permanence. Like, if I'm not making as much noise as possible, I'm like, people will forget that I'm here. So I am known to just burst into situations being like, "Everyone, emergency!" I had to stop saying emergency because people thought it was an actual emergency. So now I break into situations being like, "Everyone, breaking news." But I have to find ways to make it seem like my very basic life is breaking news. So it's like, "Breaking news! I am going to Safeway." Thank you. Cheers for Safeway, everyone. Yes. No, it's been very interesting. I was hanging out with my friends recently, and one of my friends recently got out of a relationship with this person that she thought she was going to marry, and she was like, "You know what, I'm over it," and she was explaining why, and she was like, "And also recently, he had an experience where his identity was stolen." I was like, "My God, that's something else. That sucks for him." And it made me think, it's like, has anyone here received those fraud alert emails from your banks being like, "We think that there's some fraud going on"? I've never been a victim of fraud, but I have been a victim of those fraud emails because I'm personally victimized by them. Because my bank always thinks that a fraud's happening when I'm just trying to live my life. Like, hear me out on this. Like, I'll buy $800 worth of video game equipment, and Bank of America doesn't bat an eye. Thank you. But then when I try to buy $35 worth of books from Barnes & Noble, they're like, "Stacy, something's not making sense. There's a charge coming in. Barnes & Noble?" And it's like, I read Bank of America. I'm smart. I'm not up there, but I'm smart. I can read. Bank of America doesn't think so, and it's frustrating. I read, everyone. Some people here don't think I read. Breaking news, I read a lot. Big, fat books. Sometimes I can't even hold the books. They're so big and fat. I'm going to end with this. Here I go. The other day, one of my friends came to me and was like, "I've registered for a class for fun." I was like, "Ooh, that's good. What is it?" And she was like, "I'll tell you what it is. It's called How to Deal with Difficult People." And I was like, "Here's my theory about this. We all shouldn't be dealing with difficult people. Difficult people should learn how to deal with us. Woo! Regular people. Like, why are we shelling out money for this class when they can't adjust to life?" I think we just make it too easy for the difficult people. But it made me think, I have a new roommate, and she moved in about 2 months ago, and she was using her hammer to get out wall mounting equipment that was left behind by my last roommate. And it made me think, it's like, there's nothing better analogy than how your life is impacted by toxic people than wall mounting equipment. Let me explain. Because sometimes you use your hammer, and you take out some wall mounting equipment, and the nails will just lift out very easily. And that's a really good analogy for like how normal people impact your life. Like it's like, I don't remember my 3rd grade teacher's name at all. She was so kind and blah. But sometimes you'd use your hammer and you take out wall mounting equipment, and pieces of drywall and paint and dust and decay just come crashing in at you. And that's a good analogy for what toxic people do to your life. Like my 1st grade teacher.